I'm honestly, why don't you just go ahead?
This movie, Andrew,
please,
number one spot.
Over Brink, over everything.
Over Brink, over everything. It's so good. I loved it. Everybody should watch it. Perfect. This is a 10 out of 10. This movie is literally a 10. Even the weird whale CGI, it's fine. It's fine.
Even the weird whale CGI.
That. I know at the time I was like, ugh. But no. This movie's a 10. This movie's literally a 10. I don't care. This is so good. This was incredible.
I think I got to give it an 8.5.
That's insane.
Anything lower than perfection is crazy.
Where's the 1.5 coming from?
Well, the whale doesn't help.
Sure, but I mean, whatever.
The big CGI whale doesn't help, but just very tiny things like certain ADR moments and stuff. Like
sure.
just honestly things that are just nature of the beast when it comes to Disney Channel originals.
I guess. I feel like in my mind, like those things, it's like I'm accounting for that. Like this is a 10 out of 10 on the Disney Channel original scale. I will say that. If we're talking like compared to every movie ever, maybe it is more like 8.5, 9. I'm talking like relative to like what
everything
we.
else.
Yeah. Sure.
Then this is probably a fucking 12.
It's so good. It's so good. Okay. It's gonna be hard to like collect my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah.
But like, it's just these kids are just having fun.
Oh, perfect.
No one is pitting the children against each other, which like, is what happens in a lot of these movies. But that's just, like I was saying during the watching it of like, I'm so glad this movie about surfing is not a surf competition movie.
That is such a great call because you're right. I think we have suffered fatigue from that because so many of these are about some kind of competition.
And they're
obviously
all so predictable, which is fine.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
the
but yeah, it was something nice about like, oh, there's a different thing going on. Yeah. And there's lots of different stories. Like you were saying, like the B story of like the parents' relationship, like the dad and the stepmom. That was so well done. And even like the surfing is like, the surfing and then like her inheritance, like those are still like very separate. I feel like, like the surfing is more about like her mom and whatever. And then like, I feel like even those don't like intertwine that much. Other than like, oh, all the kids surf, and if you take that away from them, that would be sad. Yeah. But like, even those two things, I don't know, are kind of separate. I feel like, in like a good way, not in a bad way.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, that's the thing is this movie, especially with that storyline of her dad and it's just so different from anything we've ever seen. Like that's they really took their time with that story, and there even were only like 3 scenes for it or whatever, but it was enough because they did such a great job from an acting standpoint. I thought it was all those scenes were super well written, and they took their time with it, and it's just something. I mean, it's the most time we've seen a parent in one of these movies on screen where they haven't, stepped in a paint bucket or something like that, for having this much screen time and actually getting to be their own characters, which does certainly seem like you could consider it a second tier thing when you're making a TV kids movie, but this is just an example. Like when you pay that attention, it clearly makes a difference.
Yeah. And there's this scene, like, where she asks her stepmom, like, what's going on with dad, blah, blah. And so it's like, it's not, sometimes, like, those things just feel so segmented in these movies and, like, so separate. But, no, this was super good. I loved it. Yeah. It was so good.
It all flowed so well together.
And there's another adult besides the parents.
Right.
In, like, Malia. I mean, she's the other girl's
Who's
mom.
not, like, some kind of evil, kind of like what you were just saying, like some kind of evil person, to pit the kids against each other.
And I think maybe that's why it helps with like the parents' storyline, because she kind of like is like the vehicle for that happening, sort of. And so, but she's still like cool, like with the kids. So I feel like kind of like connects those two parts of the thing of like, being the other adult who is like down with the kids and down with the parents, and you guys have got to make this work. Like, yeah. I don't know. I feel like
depends on how many people you can be down with, really.
Yeah,
that's a key to parenting right there. You've got to be down.
Yeah.
Yes. I would equate this most, if we're looking at other movies on the list, it's kind of like the perfect blend of Johnny Tsunami and Brink. It takes like the best parts of both those movies and takes away all the bad stuff, which again is mainly Brink. There's that competition, because that's the other thing I loved about this was in Brink, for example, Andy has that bully who's like the other big skate kid or whatever.
Yeah.
And all these kids are like, they're just nice and they're surfing.
Yes.
We're just having, this is just a good time surf movie. This is just a good time surf movie. And that's why it's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it's good.
And I don't know, maybe I'm like reading it. For like movie taking place in Hawaii, like it seemed to me like a lot of the actors were Hawaiian, and like it did not feel like a caricature at all of like Hawaii or surfing or this or that. And maybe that's why, I don't know. I've never been to Hawaii. I don't know this, but like, they're not trying to commodify surfing. Like they're like, this is just what we do. This is what we do to have fun. Like, and maybe, I think that's sort of why maybe it feels so, because a lot of the characters in it are Hawaiian, and like, that's why they don't want her to sell, the land for the resort or whatever. And like, I don't know. It was just super like, I don't know. It just felt like genuine. It just felt very genuine.
Yeah.
Like it felt very realistic and like real and like, not like people who don't know what they're talking about. I don't know. I wanted to look up the director of this movie because
Oh yeah.
She was the lady.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, you're right. The whole thing does feel, really good, this movie. And it's like I totally spaced on what the point I was about to bring up. Nope, I thought that saying "oh" would jog it, but it didn't.
Nope.
Well, the surfing was this movie was really well shot too.
Yeah.
And you were talking when we were in there about how yes, this takes place in Hawaii, and it looks like they probably shot some stuff in Hawaii. I don't know how much, and you compare that to some of these movies where the settings aren't quite as exciting and stuff, but.
Yeah.
I think it really is about how you shoot it. Like if we go to the small town that we were in last week, another big issue with that was, for one thing, we didn't really get to see anywhere except for the bowling alley.
Yeah.
And really nothing was, and the bowling itself was just shot so poorly.
So boring.
But this was like, I mean, surfing.
It's
yes,
just inherently
I
a little
know
cooler.
It sounds more exciting, but at least the camera moved in this movie,
right? Yes, and
that
it's
was
like
a big deal.
Even I guess maybe now that I'm thinking about it, like in Alley Cat Strike, like they didn't seem like they were having fun acting out bowling. I don't know. There's only so much you can do, I guess, but
they did do a lot. They did a lot of sock hopping. They had that on lock.
They did, but all those kids were just so miserable in that movie. Like, they were all so angsty and annoying and so boring and like,
Yeah, no, they were.
No
they
offense
were terrible,
to those
right?
kids, but like, and I'm sure that was what they were told. It's like, oh, your character needs to act like this. I'm not saying they're like that as people, but like, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's not fun to watch that.
Yeah, it's not fun to just watch people be miserable and like not grow up. I don't know, like whatever.
Sure.
Like the dad in this movie, he's a little bit anxious and miserable.
Yeah.
And it's
he's
like
very angsty, standing in that shadowy room
constantly with the blinds like
hilarious.
Half open. But like, you feel for him at least,
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that guy actually did a pretty good. I mean, I would say across the board, like the acting was pretty good.
Really
in this
good.
Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the girl who played Sydney, I thought she got better like as the movie went on.
Yeah, and like it starts out where like you get to just like see her in the beginning of the movie for a little while, and it doesn't jump right into like here's all these other people. Yeah. So you have like a little bit of time at least to like familiarize yourself with what's going on before they're throwing like a million other things at you
and get connected to the person that you're going to be following for the rest of the movie. Man, this movie did so many things so well. It's crazy.
Like it's just man.
It really nailed it.
It really did. Like this is so good.
Man.
God.
I know there was one other thing that I wanted to say I can't remember what it was. I mean, I guess just going back to my point about the bully, like there really weren't any terrible people in
like
this.
even the real estate agents, they're just kind of there. They're not like scheming. They're not sneaking into her house, and you know what I mean.
They're not doing bad stuff.
They're
I
not
think
like
they
doing
were
bad things.
No,
They're
but
just
they were a
like,
little like caricature-ish, but in a good way.
Sure,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
and it's like, oh, you know, hey kids, like these are the bad guys, and they're always shot kind of like looking up at them a little bit. But like, because that's what I hate in those movies when it, like in this is a terrible example, but the one that comes to mind is like in You Lucky Dog or whatever, and the bandits are like sneaking in and trying to, or like, I don't know, because then it just feels like movies that do you know what I'm talking about?
It's like that tiptoey. It's like
yes.
101 Dalmatians-esque,
yes,
like hijinks.
Like, yeah,
okay.
yeah, and like, it just seems like in movies that do that, especially these like Disney movies, it's like you really couldn't come up with just any other problem. Mm-hmm. Like it's like instead of, oh, we're fighting against the evil real estate agents who like, you know, signed our name on something that we didn't sign or something wacky like that. I feel like it's just so lazy when movies do that sometimes. And like, so it's way better to just have it like, oh, her and her dad and her stepmom need to like overcome this big thing in their life, and that's what's gonna decide it or whatever, you know. Like I just think that's way more interesting, you know, like just usually makes for like better these movies either being better or not. Like
that's a great
I'm trying to think of another
100%.
You know what I mean?
But it's like that you know, it's a difference between I think you know, somebody who's like making a movie for kids, quote unquote, whereas like making a good movie that just happens to revolve around kids.
Yes,
you know?
Yeah. It's like you don't need to like pander to these kids, man. Like, yeah. And what are they? They're 13 in this movie, I think. 13, 14.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Man, so good.
I know. The more we talk about it, the more you're swinging me around to like how good this movie actually was.
The CGI whale was a little whack.
CGI whale was very whack.
Because it looked like the shot, like it should have been so far away, and then it was like huge.
Yep.
Like,
it was bad. And it was just like open water. There was literally no telling like landmarks or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty.
But even in like the scenes where they're like talking about stuff that's serious, like when she's asking Malia, she's like, what happened to my mom? Were you there that day? And she's like, are you sure you really want to hear about this? And like, they're just standing there looking out at the ocean, you know? And like, that's like, that's just normal. Like, God.
No, it's a real credit because, there's a lot of stuff like that where it is just kind of two people talking, maybe something serious. Like, there's not a lot of jokes in this movie.
No, not really.
Which is not needed.
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, when there's not necessarily a lot of action, quote unquote, it's still super captivating.
Yeah.
Like I'll say, watching this movie, opposite of last week, for example, when I had to like check the time, like how long were we going? Like this movie feels like it flew by. Yeah. I don't have very much of a headache like I do. I feel
energized. Like I don't feel sleepy.
You know, like when Johnny Tsunami came up, like and the suggested after, I was like, maybe we put it on.
You know what?
Maybe we check it out.
Maybe we run it back.
Maybe
like
we go back to back.
Like, and just to like go back a little bit, what you were saying, or you know. They didn't make any of the kids like stupid in this movie. And like even like Kona, the love interest, he's kind of like goofy dude, but he's not dumb. He's not like he's doing his own thing. He's skateboarding, he's drawing. He's not just like following her around like a puppy or vice versa, you know. None of them are like dumb. They all have like so much personality and like their own traits and like but then because you know that they're all like intelligent and whatever, it makes those like goofy scenes like cute, you know,
like endearing.
Like, like they're just acting like friends. Like, so good. Fuck.
Yeah, Miracle in Lane 2 is next week, which is it
swimming?
No, it's like racing, like stock car racing or something.
Okay.
Some kind of car racing with Frankie Muniz.
Okay, gotcha.
Which I do feel like, we were at a certain point on this list where Miracle in Lane 2, however weak the light may have been, was still kind of like a lighthouse for us. Like, we'll at least hopefully get a reprieve for ourselves when we get to this movie. But now I feel like that's completely flipped.
I know.
Because Rip Girls was so good.
Like,
there's no way
I'd
Miracle.
like to see you fucking try, Frankie Muniz.
Yeah, nice shot. Fucking big fat liar. Good going. Yeah, there's no way that movie's gonna
probably
come close.
not.
And you know what a big reason is? It's gonna be a competition.
Right, of course, yeah.
Like, it's gonna have a competition with some kind of stakes. Like,
and sabotage. That's the word I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of movies with, like, dumb sabotage, where it's like, this is stupid.
Yes.
And, like, you're just making up. You didn't have any other way to put a problem into this movie. Yeah, that's... Okay.
Wow.
That's what I was
so
thinking.
good, Emily.
That was going to drive me nuts.
I wish we had a fucking time machine so that you could, make you the head of Disney Channel or something. Like, you just have...
Oh, man.
You're really plugged into these movies.
Oh, God.
So, take that however you want.
Sure, yeah.
But
which is crazy because I didn't grow up watching, like, tons of them.
Right.
You know, but I watched a lot of other kids' movies, I guess, and, you know, a lot of them follow the same shit anyway.
Oh, and then we have Disney. Stepsister from the Planet Weird.
Yeah.
Which I feel like, that doesn't sound very good.
No, but my coworkers have talked about that one, I think.
It's one that
and I don't know if it's in a good or bad way. I can't remember,
but man, it looks like just 2-word titles that make no sense are the fucking way to go.
Horse sense? Like,
yeah. Because honestly, I still think about Horse Sense. Like,
I did
like that. I liked that movie.
I liked it.
It was good.
Jake can say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He's wrong.
Yeah.
He's dead wrong.
Damn straight.
Okay.
Oh, I'd like to see him try to talk that shit about Rip Girls.
I know.
God damn. Now I do wish he was there, actually.
I know.
Because I would like to see you two go at it.
He'd probably
Rip
just
Girls.
be arguing just for the sake of...
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Oh, you know what, though? That does remind me. We should look up some reviews real quick.
Yeah, that's true. It's what Jake would want.
Because he's...
he's dealing with something.
I'm just going on IMDb.
Yeah. But, like, even the part where the girls were praying to, like, the surf goddess or whatever, like, that was so cool. Because it's like, okay, they're doing their little thing, and she's like, all right, guys, whatever. But, again, it didn't feel like they were making some shit up to, like, make fun of, like, Hawaii or something, you know? And then, like, yeah. And all the scenes, like, flow so... Nothing feels like, you know, some of these movies you watch, and it's like, scene ends, next scene starts, and it's like, what is happening? Like, all of this is just, like... flowed so well.
Yeah, you brought something up earlier that reminded me of that. You're exactly right. The flow and the pacing, the editing is like super great, especially transitioning from scenes, but also during like the arguments, like when the girls were fighting at the end. I thought that was cut really well. All right.
See, this is...
What are you looking
crazy.
at? Are you looking at what I'm looking at? Well, this is just...
I'm
looking at IMDb.
I don't know what this... It says it only has a 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
That does seem strange.
Crazy. It has a 69 on Rotten Tomatoes, which still seems low.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are people expecting?
Right. Like, this is a kid's movie, you know? And, like, I don't know what this common sense media... I think this common sense media is like, oh, if you're a parent showing this to your kid, do they swear? Is it sexual? Whatever. But most of these are pretty good.
I got one.
Kiss between teens. Yeah, see, it's like...
A brief kiss, the original title for this movie.
It's like, oh, do they drink? Oh, do they...
Yeah.
But, like, the reviews... I don't give a shit about this website because it's, like, weird, but...
Okay.
Are you on IMDb?
I am on IMDb.
I'll go on
This
Rotten
one
Tomatoes.
is a 7 out of 10, titled Better Than Lilo and Stitch.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I like the heat that you're coming with.
Sure, but it's like they're just different.
It's also better than Lilo and Stitch, but you're giving it a 7?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So what do you think Lilo and Stitch is? Like, Lilo and Stitch is about a little alien that comes to Earth. They surf in Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, just because these movies take place on Hawaii doesn't mean that they need to be, like,
they're
comparable.
the same movie.
Like,
it's all the same. It's all the same.
That's so weird. Like, that would be if I were like, Horse Sense is way better than Black Beauty. Like, they're about horses, I guess. Like, you don't need to compare these two. It's okay.
Like, Horse Sense is better than
fine.
War Horse, which I will die on that fucking hill. I'll die on that hill every day.
That movie's fucking sad.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so better than Lilo and Stitch.
Insane.
Looking for a great children's movie with a Hawaiian theme, Rip Girls has it all. Although the ostensible storyline is a bit implausible, this person just trying to show off the fucking reviews.
It's like, okay.
Dumbass.
Kids get inheritances all the time.
Oh, yes.
It maybe doesn't go down exactly like this, but...
There's another thing I saw. Oh, I'll read that one in a second. Let's see. The taste of Hawaiian culture and respectful treatment of all generations is well above expectations. This is the kind of movie I used to expect routinely from Disney. Got to get a dig. Got to get a little dig in there. Oh shit, where'd it go? Okay, this one is called "It Wouldn't Take Much," and it's long. If I ever inherited a piece of Hawaiian beachfront real estate, it wouldn't take much to convince me to stay. This is just turning into like a recap.
Because, like, I feel like that's the thing. Like, she doesn't need to be convinced to stay. She wants to stay from the get-go. It's her parents who are like, oh, whatever, and then she gets in a fight with her friends. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like from the beginning, it's not really a question of, like... Yeah, like, I feel like that doesn't really come up that much in it. Yeah. Other than, because she just looks angrily at the little diorama all the time. You know what I mean? Like, the adults will be talking about stuff, and she's just, like, staring skeptically. You know, like, she doesn't. She wants to stay.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the other ones that I saw were just kind of saying things that we'd already said.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Got to give Disney credit for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look, I'm glad that, like, someone said my favorite Disney Channel movie. This review was from 2000.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, better than Lilo and Stitch. That's so funny. What?
What's that one saying?
This one says 8 out of 10, but the caption says, like, whatever.
Yeah, I saw
that. Doesn't...
maybe, I don't know. Isn't that a saying?
Someone said they're comparing it to this movie Blue Crush. I wonder if that was like another surfing movie that came out around the same time.
It sounds like a surfing movie. It's between Blue Crush and Rip Girls.
Sorry.
No problem.
Kate Bosworth on it.
Kate Bosworth?
Well, Blue Crush only has a 5.7 on IMDb anyway, so fuck off.
Take that. Take that. Rip Girls doesn't have to take any shit from you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Let's see. Yes, I mean, definitely one of the best ones we've watched. Yeah. Definitely top 2, probably.
Yeah.
Top 3 for sure.
Do you still think Johnny Tsunami is above it?
Oh, man. No, it's not, but the grandpa in that movie is so
Look, that's
good.
Okay. That's okay.
And the dad is so bad.
Yeah.
Like that, I mean, Johnny Tsunami has a little bit more of, like, what we kind of want from some of these movies, like to laugh at them for, like, being bad in certain ways. Johnny Tsunami has a little more of that, where you can't do that with Rip Girls because it's a good flick.
Sure, yeah. But
know?
Sometimes, like, yeah, like I feel like Johnny Tsunami is maybe a little more in between, like, Rip Girls and some of the, like, bad ones that don't take themselves seriously at all.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I feel like these movies have one of 3 vibes, and I can't put them into words. One of them is, this is a real movie. Rip Girls, Horse Sense.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, this could be on, like, ABC. This could have been, like, in theaters. 2 is, I feel like, Brink, Johnny Tsunami, like, these kind of, like, somewhere in the middle of... And then there's just, like, Genius. Yes.
Just literal nightmare. Just, like, crazy
just, like,
fever dream shit that makes no sense. Like, no sense.
I know.
He's a kid, but he's a scientist, and he works under a hockey rink.
Like, what?
And on top of it, we're going to make it terrible.
Yeah, and they float at some point.
I forgot about the floating.
Yep.
Man, Punk still might be worse than Genius. So that movie was bad.
Yeah.
Movie was really bad. No gun in this movie either. Gotta say
I feel like
that.
maybe we're moving away from that.
Maybe we're past firearms.
Maybe.
Yeah, you might be right. I'm looking ahead. Yeah. If Quince has a gun, that'll be funny.
That would be really funny.
Yeah. Ready to Run. I've never heard of that one. That's 3 away.
Movie probably.
Right. That's got to be boring. That's got to be very funny. I feel like they have it, dude. That's too early for a track movie. Although they already made a fucking bowling movie.
Yeah.
So who knows what these people are thinking at this point?
Because I feel like they just had to, like, it's like, oh, we have to get every sport in here so that we're not, which, like,
sure,
so we're not leaving anybody out, and so that
they
the
haven't
kids
done baseball, they haven't done basketball, they haven't
true.
done football. The main ones that you think.
Yeah.
of.
When is Luck of the Irish. Isn't that a basketball movie?
Oh, Luck of the Irish is definitely basketball,
Yeah.
and it is in 2001.
Okay.
So
okay. Because I feel like they probably had to be like, we have to get movies in for the kids. It's like, the kids who are into surfing aren't probably going to be into, whatever. They had to appeal to.
Yeah. Into horse sense.
Yeah.
You got to get something for everybody. Anything else to say about this movie? You just want to reiterate how
just watch it.
Just check out Rip Girls.
So good.
Yeah.
It's
if you're going to watch any of these, probably Rip Girls.
Probably Rip Girls.
Because
there's no, I would say in horse sense too, but there's no amount of like uncomfortableness in that movie. Like even like between the kids with like their little romances, sometimes that feels a little weird.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of like the acting, I think.
Yeah.
It's not weird in this movie.
No.
Horse
Which is
sense,
strange
there's not
weird.
one at all.
Right.
Which
so
I think is
you're
cool.
Good there.
Yeah. And it's like, not that I don't care about that kind of stuff, but sometimes it feels weird if they don't get it right. And like, I think this movie and like friendships and like, between like girls and guys and like, there's just like a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Now this movie, it does get it right. It does get it right.
And is this the first movie where like a deceased parent is like the main point?
Oh,
like a lot of them have had deceased parents,
Okay.
but they mention it once of like, mom's gone now or something like that. But like this one was like,
yes. Under Wraps did that, I think. I think his dad, because his dad died and they just kind of like.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, it's kind of heavy. Like how in
it was
Don't Look Under the Bed or whatever, the little kid had like cancer.
Yes.
And that was like why they're all traumatized.
Yes.
Because their son had cancer.
And in that
and this one
movie-
is like, oh, your mom is dead and no one
Right.
wants to talk about it. So, yeah.
God,
like
this was done so much better than that, though. 'Cause, that's like that movie. The serious tone felt so out of place.
Yeah,
like
it's
that
a little
was fucking crazy.
ham-fisted.
But
like,
this was
so
great.
good.
Yeah, that's Rip Girls, baby.
There's nothing else to say.
It's too good, man.
So
I do.
good.
I do want Jake to watch this one. Actually, I want to hear what he has to say about it.
Yeah.
But God damn,
Probably just fucking. I don't know.
I fell
Think
asleep.
it's stupid. Yeah, like come on, dude.
We don't even get to see that kid break his arm. Why does he have a cast?
The kid's doctor is probably so pissed. He's just getting his cast wet constantly.
Dude, his friends are getting in danger. Probably happens all the time.
Like,
Happens all the time.
true.
And like, oh, were you saving one of your friends from surfing?
Yeah.
I get it.
right.
I get it. There you go. Here's a pineapple instead of suckers. I get pineapples. I know. All right, let's get out of here.